Welcome back to some professional StarCraft 2 from the Wardy Invitational or Mega Super StarCraft Tournament event. I don't know. A whole bunch of pro players, a whole bunch of money, and a whole bunch of great games for the fans featuring the best players of Wardy TV 2020. Wow, it's a yearly thing now. Okay. But thank you to Wardy for, of course, sending out those matches for less passionate casters like myself to take a look at. I have it on good authority, as in some guy in Twitch chat was like, this was a great match, and I hope you agree. In the bottom right, the man who right now I think is still competing for the title of top Terran. He's not there yet. He's shown some inconsistency like he has in the past, but he is one of the best Terrans out there. Put him in the top 3, all right? I'll put him up there with TY and Maru. Innovation, we'll have to take some more looks, but TY, Cure, anyways, it is Cure. Now, there's no dramatic way to say it. I'm still looking for a good nickname for him. Because when I asked him, how many times have I told this story, but at Home Story Cup, I'm like, come on, you got to give us something, like, besides solid Terran player. And he said, I'm a solid Terran, and then, So, speaking of solid, the man known for near impeccable defense. Now, not this game, but for near impeccable defense, known as Die Mauer, the Wall, the German Protoss player. It is Showtime, who is also doing a proxy gate, 2-gate play. So, it is cheese time, and then probably following with the Stargate. So it's even more cheese time. Cure with a relatively late SCV scout, but he did SCV scout, so we will be able to get an idea of what's going down. The Reaper's going to be hunting. Yeah, bunker on the way. We'll have to see from here. The bunker's coming up. I just said that. Adept. Wait, what? A Twilight Council? This is not a Stargate. Could it be Dark Templar? Or Glaives? Or Charge? We will see. Adept trying to escape. A lot of hits from the Reaper. Ends up dying. Showtime. Now, was it a decoy? Another Adept shading. He's keeping one at home. But he should have seen the Reaper was going across. I'm surprised there's still an Adept at home. I guess he wants to make sure the Reaper doesn't end up killing probes. It is a Dark Shrine. Now, will Cure be ready for this? He knows that shenanigans are afoot. He just doesn't know what flavor. A Nexus on the way. I think Showtime wanted to make sure he saw that. I think that was intentional. I don't think he's trying to hide the Nexus. But Cure, he's looking. He will find the gate, but the gate is not what he needs to be worried about. What he needs to be worried about is the Dark Shrine in the corner. How's this for some, well, not necessarily role reversal, but a little out of character. I like it, though. Game 1, Showtime showing up with the cheese. And right now, Cure, okay, so Cure definitely knows there's something else, because you don't just build an Adept off of a proxy gate. Where's your gas going? Like, why are you just building an Adept? At least, like, build a Stalker that has some potential if you're not getting any other tech. But this is a huge risk, because if it gets scouted, it does essentially nothing. Right now, Cure has a great economy, but always the but. So much but. The Dark Templar. First. He didn't react. The Raven is out the way. And oh no! Marines! Sliced to pieces, cut in half. But there's a DT in the main. He has scans. But the damage is already being dealt. Between the scans and the kills, the DTs have already paid off. They split their deeps between the bases. And he. Oh my god, are you kidding me? He recalls out. Did Cure realize? He might have seen / heard the recall. I love that. He recalls the DT. There's a chance that Cure still thinks it's in the main, by the way. Like, I think the DTs have been entirely worth it. And now, go DT Blink. Don't go DT Blink. I love that play. Showtime playing a poker game and getting the better of Cure to start here. Like, you don't expect the 2-gate into DTs. I've never seen that. I've seen DT rushes. I've seen 2-gate. But I've never seen someone go proxy, gate, expand into Dark Templar. That is new. And Showtime making it work well. There are 6 more gates on the way. We're not done yet. There's a charge follow-up. This one a little bit more pedestrian, a little bit more expected, but we'll see how much damage. Like, Cure wasn't building. He was focused on dealing with the DTs. He has 11 Marines, a tank, a Cyclone, a Raven, but the amount of charge lots. Oh yeah, and Showtime saving the Dark Templar is so important because now he can build Archons. This Reaper doing, like, somehow the Reaper is still alive and doing damage. The Reaper will not be alive for long. Observer is involved. Obviously, there's a robotics. But the Archon charge lot follow-up, there's 1 Marine in front. There's not a second tank. In fact, he doesn't even have a tech lab. He's not building any Widow Mines. Where is the Cyclone? Still patrolling for the main. Showtime's going to be coming in with a blunt force attack. 1 tank is not going to be enough to stop this. Stim and combat shields... Well, combat shield's not even in production, but Stim and +1 a long way off. The depots are on the way. You can tell Cure understands there's a threat of this. Actually, he realizes now, but the Adepts will shade in. Oh, he slips by. It's not a wall. The boys are pulled, but the damage is being dealt. An auto turret helping out. A lot of Marines. The boys, a little bit of a weird angle. The Archons can't get through. The charge lots slip back out, filtering through the pseudo wall. He gets one of the depots. The SCV is being managed as well as he could. The charge lot's really trying to get in on the action. Stim not done yet. +1, still far off. The depot not raised in time. The boys were trying to escape. A whole lot of Marines and a single medevac here. Splits. The auto turret, he actually killed all the zealots here. And Showtime has not been building probes behind this. Mules are dropping at the natural, so he's committing to defend it. Stim and +1 are done in just a couple seconds. Those mules are very important in keeping the economy intact. Cure might be losing 1. No, somehow he saves them. There's force fields potentially. Oh, he's going to lose the mules. And that means Showtime will be able to transition out of this. He already has. Probes on the way. He actually canceled and rebuilt. I don't know what he was looking for there, but that's a lot of bio. We're in that weird scenario where he did a ton of damage to Cure, but Cure's still going to have a very good army. The force fields mean that he can't really go down the ramp. What? Caught between a rock and a I don't even know what happened there. Jammed the force field right up against the ramp. Cure's going to be supply blocked, adding to the unfortunate circumstances. But at the same time, remember, oh no! Any survivors? 1 Marauder escapes, traumatized after that. This is almost like a Wings of Liberty thing, like, oh, he warped in 1D, well he still has a Raven, so that was a little optimistic, as is the Orbital. He's trying to bait out the force fields. Wait, are there any more I don't know if there's energy. This is such a weird scenario, where Showtime is containing Cure, but if Cure's ever allowed to actually get onto the open field, he'll be able to out-micro Showtime because he has +1 Marine Marauder with Widow Mines and Medevacs. Like, the army that Showtime has works in an unfair fight. Like, he brings his friends, the Archon and the War Prism, and he says, well, you come on down this ramp 1 or 2 at a time, and that's about it. What do you do? Cure is really... He's bleeding units. I don't think there's another force field. Is there? Is there energy? Yes, there's 1 more. He could maybe disable the sentry with interference matrix. He's trying to out... Oh, he uses the anti-armor missile. Where are the force fields? There's one on the ramp. But still a lot of fire coming out onto the charge lots. The medevacs could pick up 1 Marauder holding the ground. He's warping in another sentry, but the force field will run out. He's gonna go for it. Well, it's unclear how force fields are gonna work. Big Widow Mine hit, helping out against the Archon. Another hit, the Archon out of shields. Cure patiently, but calmly, but firmly, will escape from his own base, down his ramp, and drive the Protoss away. Showtime shaking his fist at Cure up his ramp for quite a while, but not able to bring it down and end the match. Cure with incredible patience, but Showtime with a great build, a little indecisive in the final execution there, but there's still a Warp Prism. What's in it? Charge lot, any DT warp-ins, a third base for Showtime, but look at the worker count, 42 to 37. That ain't much. That ain't much of a difference, and especially for Showtime. Thankfully, there's no third command center here. Warp Prism heading into the main. Any SCV kills could be pretty devastating. Wherever the Raven isn't will cost a scan. Cure. He can't come home. He's got to go do some damage. The DT going to work. Scan will catch it. What are the upgrades? Nothing for Showtime. He's going to be reliant on disruptors and on his unit composition. Disruptor shot comes out. Interference matrix late on the draw. Oh, big hit! Center mass of Cure's army, and I think that's enough to stop all this momentum in its tracks. The interference matrix was off the mark. He cast it on a disruptor that already fired. The charge lots are filing in. Whoa, whoa, whoa. He's bleeding out some charge lots, and yes, the disruptor is helpful. Gets a couple marauders, but does not clip the Widow Mine that is off cooldown. Glaive's on the way. Showtime's still going to be relying on his unit composition. Cure. Neither player's building workers because they know this game is on a knife's edge. And yes, okay, Cure now building workers. Yes, okay, whatever. But he is still in a very dangerous spot. Showtime has an army that, if he's not watching, well, what is going on? So a Mega Drop and then a Warp Prism coming home. Meanwhile, the Raven distracts the army. Quadruple Drop. Pentuple. I don't know how to say it. Pentadrop into the natural. The Archon's being targeted down. Widowmine's having their fill. The Disruptor just going to be dodged into the sky. 19 probes are eliminated. And suddenly Cure is right back in it. And honestly, Cure is now ahead. Showtime neglected to prepare for this. He didn't keep track of the medevacs, and that will cost him. Everybody calm down. And remember, the Twilight Council and the Dark Shrine are in the bottom left corner. Vulnerable. If he loses those and doesn't build a Templar Archives, there are no Archons. Drops all over the place. I'm going to go to the Cure action cam. Let's follow him. Dropping towards the main. Another army towards the third. We're in the first person of Cure. Has a great angle. Showtime has kind of bottled himself up here. Disruptor shots, but an army into the third. He scans preemptively for Dark Templar. He's on top of everything. More Zealots from the back. He's trickling through. Oh, but the drop in the main got cleaned up. The third base is being targeted. It looks like Showtime going to be losing it along with most of the probes. There's a Disruptor in the mix. He's got to be careful. He hits his own Nexus. And now the Terrans will finish the job. Oh. So, it's pretty desperate here. The scan, he spots where the army is going. This is one of the highest potential damage armies. He's got DTs, Disruptors, Archons, but he doesn't have much else. There's still a lot of options, but Cure's going to have to make some pretty big mistakes or Showtime some ridiculous plays, because this army is not going to cut it. Oh my god, the Archon almost dead before things start. Disruptor shots, though. Fishing. Finding. Good connection. Another shot. Just going to clear out the Widow Mine. There's one more Widow Mine. 4 Disruptors are a whole bunch. Meanwhile, the army, it's unclear who's flanking who. I think we can agree. Well, actually, no. There's a Dark Templar in the mix, making things difficult. He scans a second DT and an Archon. Targeted down. Disruptor shot. Clips some things. Charge lots getting in on the action. More bio from the right. Oh, 2 big hits for Showtime. Another one. Oh, looking for the Marauders. But wait, Cure's everywhere. Cure takes it. A messy game. An exciting one. From start to finish with the proxy gate into whatever the follow-up was there. essentially just rotating through all of the tech paths that he could get anywhere close to. I don't know. I can't. I'm at a loss for words. But Cure holding on. The patience on trying to come down the ramp while still, like, instead of just retreating, saying, well, I guess I can't go down this ramp. Instead deciding to continue pressuring, essentially run the sentries out of energy. That is a risky call to make. Can we give Cure, no, not Showtime, Cure his point on the board, showing why he's so good. And of course, on the other side, I want one mech game, by the way. I want one game where Kira plays mech against Protoss. I don't know if he's been favoring it lately. He's no TY. We will see. In Showtime, I don't think he'll do another 2-gate. Honestly, like, he pulled out all the tricks there, all the cheesy Protoss plays. And once you've already done that in a series, his strong suit is playing defense most of the time. That doesn't mean, of course, he can't play aggressive. I really like the build. It's just Kira was too good. I don't know. I'm just thinking of all the options here. I'm interested to see what Showtime favors. Is it going to be Robo? Is it going to be Stargate? Maybe Twilight Council. I'm just listing Protoss tech trees now. Going to be Stargate. Now it's a little bit of a tell. It's become kind of a common thing for Protoss players, where you just kind of skip Warp Gate for a little while because Warp Gate isn't that critical unless you're getting cheese super early on in order to get your tech out. It's more of a tell in Protoss versus Zerg, where their Overlord is just watching everything. I'm pretty sure that probe. This has become also kind of a meta trend, is putting a pylon out where you think a sneaky starport unit will go. I doubt it's going to be for anything other than that. Also nice to have a pylon out on the map in case you want to put together a counterattack. Oracle first, not going to rely on the Phoenixes. Now, does he build any more than the one Oracle and follow up with Phoenixes? Or is this going to be... How many Adepts has he built? We've got 3 Adepts. I'm sorry. We're making sure we got all the matches lined up behind this. Cloak Banshee is the choice. Pretty passive start. Like, I'm disappointed with the lack of action early on. I mean, we can respect a nice solid macro game where everybody gets their build order and doesn't take a bunch of crazy damage in the first 5 minutes. Okay, not every game can be 1 base versus 1 base unless Haz is playing. Showtime maybe had an opportunity to get some damage done there, but I don't think he wanted to risk either a Cyclone popping out or an Oracle. Not an Oracle, a Widow Mine being in the mineral line. Okay. We good, Jimmy? Alright, we're good. Cloak Banshee. Will he let Cloak finish? Despite the Banshee being spotted? Okay. That probably indicates mech then, to be honest. I'm surprised he would let... Obviously, he's going to wait for 2 Banshees, because if it's been spotted, then you need to wait until at least you can get through shield batteries. But at this point, I'd be kind of surprised if he didn't go mech. Because investing in the Cloak and getting multiple Banshees is... It's a lot of money early on, and you got to make use of it, otherwise, especially a player like Showtime is going to get way ahead. He's taking his 3rd Nexus. What is happening back at home? How many gates? 3 gates online, and it is just the Stargate tech. There's no Immortals, there's no Colossi options, obviously. Needs to get a Revelation on those Banshees, he does. This is an awkward amount of units, but we've seen less do more. Big tank shots. Is he targeting the Stalkers? Yes, targeting the Stalkers on the left. If he gets rid of all the anti-air, he can do pretty well. Showtime, though, thinning out the army. Revelation means everything's taken care of. The tank will be lifted up, and the Stalkers will knock it down. Oh, well. So, a disjointed attack there. The Cloak not really paying off. He is going to go bio after this. A very ambitious shade out of Showtime to shade all the way forward chasing the army, but Cure, I'm maybe not expecting Showtime to continue producing out of the Stargate, but he took a shot at him. It's not like Showtime cannot counterattack. He's gone for the 3rd base. He doesn't have a bunch of tech. He doesn't have the upgrades. He's just now getting +1 armor and charge. The robotics facility is nearing completion, but otherwise he just doesn't have that many units. So Cure is going to rely on getting his 3rd base up. He's going to rely on building up, well, ideally, probably around 150 supply before Showtime has any serious forms of splash damage that can contend with him. There's a 2nd Robo. Oh my god, this Oracle doing a good job. 3 Widow... What? 3 Widow Mines. I don't know why, but I looked at these units. These ones right here. You've seen them before. I'm like, 3 Widow Mines. I have no idea. Vikings, pretty decent at Protoss. I think losing that Oracle has told Cure that it's unlikely Stargate play will continue. We'll see if... So, in order to avoid the Phoenix, the Viking will land and walk away. That is professional micro right there. Didn't expect that, did you, Showtime? Couple Colossi coming up. He'd actually love to keep a hold of these Vikings, considering Colossi are on the way. I believe Cure came in and spotted the Rebel Bay, and he's like, you know what, these Vikings, they should be allowed to live. So live they will. Wow, look at this vision Showtime's putting together. He's got the entire left half of the map covered. The right half, he's adding on the pylons. And right up the center, that's where the army's going to be chilling. Cure, on the other hand, building up his production. We had our skirmish, our little brawl early on. But the next time they fight will be much more costly, with much more expensive units and more of them. Behind the 70 workers apiece, we got a good old-fashioned gentleman's macro game. It's going to come down to control, decision-making, micro, tactics, all those exciting StarCrafty things.
Upgrade complete.
Ghost Academy's on the way. How many starports? Oh, he's going for a 2nd starport now. A drop over to the right. The mini-map is awash with a whole bunch of units for both sides. Cure is trying... It's almost like Protoss creep right now. Like, he has perfect vision over the entire half of the map. Okay, near perfect. Very near to perfect. Effectively perfect. Showtime does not plan on letting anything through. The problem is, he still doesn't really have that game-ending army. He's got Colossi here, but they've been scouted and prepared for quite a while by Cure. Cure is building 4 Vikings at a time. He's got some tanks. He's going for his 4th. So this is happening, by the way. Those adepts are looking up at the command center. The command center looks down at them, and then nothing happens. One Marine sounding the alarm, and then abruptly silenced. DT Blink is being researched. It's one of those games where you just click all of the buttons. Meanwhile, the tanks are sieging up, and Showtime just sauntering out onto the map. 2 disruptors at a time, a couple joining up with the army. The Vikings looking for some valleys onto the Colossi. Doing well thus far. Guardian Shield, a little helpful. Cure is going to try to box him out of his 4th, but right now the 4th is vulnerable. A Warp Prism on the left will give him options for counterattack. Chrono Boost on the Dark Shrine. Colossi and Charge Lance EMP. He's going to back off. 2-2s on the way. Upgrades are going to be a little spread. Is he going to lift it? Yes, at the last second. Cure getting real ambitious on how long the planetary can stick around. DT's cutting right through the building armor. 1 SCV tasked with the job of repairing, which seems a little bit of an undercommitment. Meanwhile, Showtime rotated his army around, and Cure is not ready for this. He's trying to move some tanks down. The rest of everybody's filing in. Targets down the command center. Vikings working on the Colossi. Stalkers working in turn. Disruptor shots across the board. 1, 2, 3, looking okay, but not good enough. Too many Colossi knocked over. Disruptors on cooldown. No storms or any other splash damage involved. And Cure's able to close in with the concave and have enough units left over to chase down the Colossi, the Disruptors, and the remaining Gateway units. What exactly went wrong? It's hard to tell. I think there was a mix of EMPs as well as the Colossi not getting hits on the Bio Army is why we find ourselves with Cure on the chase here. There's not any Archons or Templar of any kind. Well, I guess maybe Dark Templar, but a force field actually keeps out the Zealots here. Liberators joining in. Both sides piling back into the fight, but have to go to their corners once reinforcements are revealed. Charge lots. He's just completely avoiding Archons here, interestingly. Spending all that gas on Stalker, Blink Stalker Disruptor, which is it's a glass cannon composition. You either hit the Disruptor shots and manage the Blink, or your army essentially gets wiped off the map. There's very little in between in most of these fights. Some more Disruptor shots, finds a ghost, but tank continues shelling. Shield stripped away. Charge, oh my god, how many charge lots? He has 22. Like, what is that? It's an entire legion. Well, though, no Stargates. Well, he has a Stargate, remember. Blinking forward. The EMP actually misses the mark, but a curveball around the turret. Big hit. Another one. Nice split by Cure. Oh, yeah, I agree. I've come around. 2 damage health bars for most casters. For now. Here comes Showtime. Looking for the 4th again. The Liberators, do they have advanced ballistics? They do not. The Vile Army trying to zone for the Liberators. And in the natural, DT's blinked by the Lib. There's a couple turrets on the outside. There's not that many units here to stop this. Meanwhile, Cure's going to the other side of the map. DT slicing through the natural. Cure still has a lot of SCVs, even if he loses all of these, but keeping it busy is very important. Showtime thrusting into the 3rd, but at the same time, Cure on top of the 4th of Showtime. Disruptor shots flying. Blink off cooldown now. He's going to be able to get one of these command centers. He gets to the edge of the bio army, but at the same time, on the opposite side of the map, the 4th base is under attack. DT's warped in. He's going to try to get him on top. They still do a lot of damage. He blinks behind. Might be able to clean up most of this drop. Requires a second scan. Orbital is saved. What a save! But he's not able to save the 4th if Showtime concentrates on it. Well, Showtime, a little disjointed. He's still dealing with this. The bio army held its ground, and it held it well enough. Oh, disruptors? No, every disruptor is targeted. The Liberators make sure the charge lots can't close the distance. Medevacs escape. Nothing on the ground will. Down goes the Marauder. Shield stripped away on the Nexus, but it survives. Let's look at the damage. Cure lost a lot of SCVs. He lost 49. Somehow not a single probe has died. Whereas Showtime has 80 probes. He's working on plus 3 weapons, plus 1 shields here to catch up the upgrades. Cure is maxed out at 3-3. There's no more and no higher level Stargate tech, no Fleet Beacon, Mothership, Tempest, any of those fancy things. So at the end of the day, while Cure, I think, ended up in a more uncomfortable position, Showtime isn't building the army yet that he has to be especially worried about. Like, these units can be killed. One misstep by Showtime or one poor engagement like he's already had in this one. And suddenly the supplies draw a lot closer to even. The army supply is in favor of the Terran player. A scan spots the disruptor count. EMPs, enhanced shockwaves is done. He can catch most of those units. There are now, well, Storm is now in production. Back to Colossi, as the Viking count has been whittled down to 0. Advanced ballistics will help, but they're not nearly as good as the Vikings against the Colossi. Another EMP at the front. Just Showtime poking and prodding. He has the economy, he has the bases, he's trying to find an opportunity. He doesn't want to go to that later game, which Cure is one of the best at. Like, we're talking Tempest, we're talking a whole bunch of Liberators, and essentially a semi-stalemate. But shields are gone on most of this. Showtime's still looking for an opportunity. Cure is getting closer to maxing out, and then his army supply will be significantly higher. Showtime needs to find an angle now, or find the next level of tech, which would more than likely be that Fleet Beacon. Stalkers coming in. Almost enough to one-shot Liberators, but not quite. EMP is on the side. Meanwhile, another attack on the left. The charge lots will chew through, reinforcing bio from both sides. Disruptor zoning out. He recalls the Disruptors out. He's going to get all of them out of there. Meanwhile, doing a whole bunch of damage and killing SCVs. A few Stalkers and charge lots left behind, but 12 SCVs go down. Not the end of the world once again, as Cure has plenty of bases and orbital commands. That recall on the Disruptors was a great snap decision to save the day. Planetary greater than Archons, but Archon put up quite a fight. Everybody, back to your corners. We're going to round 7. I don't actually, well, I'm estimating. I don't know how many major engagements we would describe in this match, but 6 or 7, and they're still not significantly closer to a conclusion. Like, Showtime has most of the map, but he's not leveraging it into the late-game army. The late-game army is Tempest, Templar. Despite their nature starting with Temp, they are anything but temporary when handled well. And EMPs across the board. The Planetary taking a lot of hits. Liberator siege up. Charge slots forced to retreat. Disruptors looking for a shot. Fires into the mineral line. Interesting call. Surprised it didn't swing wide on that one. Meanwhile, a medevac loads up. This Observer's been here the entire game, by the way. Charge lots. Oh, he's going for it. Showtime looking for an opportunity. Disruptors underneath. Storms across everything in the sky. But the Liberators are taking big chunks. Even the turret's getting in on the action. One last Liberator. Finally, the Liberators are gone. But the Planetary adding a lot of damage as well. The Bio Army will hold. Disruptor shot. Trying to chase down the Bio. Not enough. 6 more SCVs fall. Cure still over 50. More Disruptor shots. Killing Disruptors with Planetaries. More charge lots. Doesn't get the Planetary. How many times have we seen players die on the hill of a Planetary fortress? More Disruptors. Forces the Bio back. Colossi, none of them have shields. but they keep units at arm's reach with extended thermal lance as long as there's enough gateway units to cover them. There will be no shields. The shields are down, Captain Showtime. What should we do? He says attack! Blink! Everything! Fire the disruptors! Everything fired across the board! Target fire on the liberators! But a flank from Cure! The Colossi are all hitting the planetary! What are you doing? It's a disaster! The Terran army stims underneath! 1, 2, 3 out of 4 Colossi mowed down! But Cure has lost a lot as well! The one surviving Colossus will be able to retreat. The Warp Prism gets out of there. Oh, how many times has the planetary saved the day? And the disruptor, pretty decent hit. A bowling ball, strike it in. Well, so even though the Colossi were distracted, just enough damage came out. The unit's lost. Showtime losing way more. Scans a permanent resident. The thing is, as time goes on, I think this favors Cure more and more, as long as Showtime isn't building, well, honestly, the Stargate units. At every fight, he has to try to bludgeon the Liberators out of existence, or any other Starport units. Those air units providing the force multipliers, as well as the Ghosts. The EMPs, I don't know how many EMPs have been cast this game. It's in the dozens. And it seems like there's never any shields on the army. Another one! Throws it out there, just making sure he knows that ghosts are still very spooky and he should be scared of them. That's a whole lot of medevacs. He didn't get the medevac speed upgrade, speed/boost upgrade, right? Sensor towers give a little bit of advance warning. The planetary honestly is the real MVP. It only has 8 kills, but those kills include disruptors and archons and maybe even a colossus in there. I'm not sure. Meanwhile, Cure launches an EMP, a fadeaway shot from the Ruptors. Showtime is really trying to crack this open. The planetary is just that big, strong, thick, defensive structure jammed in. Oh my god, yes, okay, we get it. You vape. More EMPs, disruptor shots. That one finding a good connection. Beautiful storm. Templar goes down immediately, but the splash damage is a tsunami. Oh, more Vikings targeted down. Showtime driven back. That was a good engagement there. Showtime now really leveraging his bank. He's one good fight away, I think, at this point, from actually breaking Cure. Cure is running out of minerals. He's down at his main, his natural, and his third. They're dry. And so far, he hasn't yet found a real solution to this army. He's still looking for it. A big fight. He might actually get the planetary this time. Zoning with the disruptors. The planet... Oh my god, the planetary is falling. It's falling. It's dead. The last bastion of Cure. But at what cost? The Vikings are on the deck. A bioarmor coming up. A huge disruptor finds a ghost. Showtime can reload, rearm, and recharge his shields after these EMPs, or maybe just warp it in a few Archons. The fadeaway shots on the disruptor. Beautiful targeting. Where's the split? No split. Big hit. There goes Cure. EMPs won't save you now. Showtime finally breaks it open and overwhelms. That will be his game number 2. In an intense, dramatic, exciting roller coaster. And then all tied up. The EMPs. The EMPs were overwhelming. Next map, Eternal Empire. Okay, I need to finish that sentence. I zoned out thinking about my next sentence before finishing it. The EMP is overwhelming, but shields aren't everything. Those disruptor shots, really interesting. But Jimmy, we're in the game. Thank you. Well, and I want to take this time, shout out to Wardy for all the matches and putting on this tournament. Wardy TV 2020. Check out Wardy on YouTube. Unless he casts the same matches I casted from his replays, in which case don't. But otherwise. And on Twitch, most days, and much of most days, at twitch.tv/Wardy with 3 eyes. Why? Who knows? But one of my top 5 English casters from the UK. I'm sorry, Wardy. And if you subscribe to him, you get all these so many replays. And then you can reuse them for your own content. But of course, giving it credit where credit is due. There's no legal obligation there. I just want to make sure people know. And also, I don't want to make Wardy angry at me. When Wardy gets angry, he gets mildly passive-aggressive and slightly bitter. And who would want that? Game 3. No cheese this time. This is the macro map. If there were a macro map, it's one of the largest, if not the largest, in the map pool. It has very defensible first 3 bases. The 4th base is, you have an option of a rich Vespine base as well, which can really keep your tech rolling, especially if you're able to get it early on. If there were a game for Cure to go mech, this would be it. And if there were a game to go incredibly late, this would be it as well. Now that's just a stereotype, but these players, like, there are players, there's a reason, there's a standard meta, I guess, is, what are you doing over there? There's a standard meta. Not all players follow it, but the players who do play around that or near that, they define it. And Cure and Showtime are 2 of the most, it sounds almost insulting, but it's not meant to be insulting, standard players. They are the ones who help define what standard is by the way they play. So, which means, am I going to have to play Blinkstalker Disruptor? Because every time I do, I get 1 Disruptor hit and then lose the rest of my army as a Protoss player. But I got that 1 hit, which is worth the Twitch clip, but maybe not my ladder points. Or, as a Terran, somehow they always get the highlight reel M-Ganning level Disruptor hits, and I'm not able to touch them. You can't explain it. So. Hellions versus... Okay, so this is... There are 2 Adepts. On the other side, Hellions are just running by. There's an Oracle to stop them. But, okay. The Oracle stops everything. It seems like Showtime's just taking a win on every part of the map right now. Am I... Well, based on him losing nothing and his opponent losing 2 SCVs, 3 Hellions, and a Reaper, I'm going to go ahead and say Showtime did a little better on that. So the Stargate play giving you so many options, and Showtime handling it very confidently. Cure opting for the Hellions, which are pretty high risk, but also high reward, because just 3 Hellions one-shot a probe. So you get a couple Hellions by, and you're well on your way to a bunch of probe kills. But if they don't go so well, guess what happens? Surprise! Here comes some Oracles, but Viking just in time. The Cyclone is a big part of this. He locks onto the Adept, didn't micro that perfectly, but... The one saving grace here for Cure is that when he got into the main, he scouted the Oracle and was able to prepare for an attack like this. 3 shield batteries. 3? One of the few issues I have with damaged health bars is since shield batteries start with full energy, you can't tell they're shield batteries. They just look like cannons. But those are indeed shield batteries. And Cure's just going to trickle across the map. Is he bringing Tactiboys? No Tactiboys? For repair? Okay. It's just one Stalker in the main. Going to warp in 2 more. Cure. He's got a ragtag band of Terran options here. It's an army that could do incredibly well, but also could pretty easily just get wiped out. It really does come down to the lock-ons, the target fire, the exact timing. There's a weird amount of Marines here. Oracle going in on the other side. Cure is working on his 3rd. The high ground. Oh, where's the force field? Impeccable! Oh, wait. The Marines are trickling through, but that's fine. And a shield battery as well. Meanwhile, a Viking in the main. But the Stalkers will deal with it. The wall stops Cure in his tracks. He did not delay the 3rd, but the Oracle's in the main base, and there's nothing to stop him. He's just burning through even a tank. Get the tank. Go. Yep. Run. Okay. All right, a little messy, but on the bright side for Cure, he was able to get his 3rd. On the downside, almost everything else. Meanwhile, Showtime's allowed to get everything now with all of the probes. He has 66 probes, building gates, forge, Colossus, extended thermal lance. And as you know, as Showtime knows. Oh, wait. Hey girl. Are you a robotics bay? Because you make my thermal lance extend. He can get a 4th. Twilight Council, I'm sure. Well, he already has a Twilight Council. Charge is halfway done. Cure beaten back. He even lost a tank alongside all of that economy in the Cyclones he was attacking with. So Cure is a long way off, able to be aggressive. Everything was delayed. He invested in Vikings. The Vikings didn't... I mean, they helped with the initial attack, but they slowed down things like medevacs. Showtime is in a great spot, but because he does have to tack out a Stargate, and he did get so much economy, it's going to take a bit. It takes time. Oracle. He's not even going to take a risk. He just slaps the Revelation on. Cure. He scanned the Colossi, and now we'll say, you know what? I don't know. I don't know, Kev. He's sending out maybe drops, but adjusting his tactics upon scouting his opponent's tech. And here we go again. It looks like it's gonna be a macro game. Cure, Dark Shrine, Blink, 1-1 on both sides, by the way. Another starport. Turrets. It appears that after our initial skirmishing, once again, both sides are going to go back to their corners. They're going to macro up, and then when they come back, they're going to be hitting way harder. 4 Colossi are now done. Once again, it'll be Showtime with more bases. More, well, not more economy necessarily. More bases give you some. And he will more than likely be taking the initiative. And Cure will be forced to play defense. And last time, you know what that meant? That meant Showtime won. Now, it's not like early game, macro, yada yada yada, Showtime wins. There was a little bit more nuance to it than that. And by that I mean an epic 15-minute back and forth. But it felt like Showtime was in a pretty comfortable spot most of the time. Despite maybe not taking the best engagements, he still was 1 or 2 big mistakes away from actually losing the game. Whereas Cure was one bad fight away from losing most of it. Blink, and then DT Blink is on the way. Showtime is nearly maxed out. There's a double drop on the other side, but there's plenty of units to deal with this. Disruptors and Dark Templar. I love his style. This is the flashy Hogwarts-level spellcasting Protoss. We're not relying on boring things like Storm. We've got the Danger Balls. We got the Blink Stalkers, the Blink Deets. That's about it, but still... a lot of glass cannon options that aren't as, like, your average Protoss will go heavy on the Templar, maybe get a Storm Prism, a whole lot of Immortals, and Charge Lots, and maybe some Archons. Showtime says, F that. I want the Robo units, I want the Blinks, I want the Micro. Cure, what do you got? A scan spots the army. It's a lot of Vikings. He gets a revelation, and he dies for it. Oh, Blinks into one. That's not a planetary. We've seen many issues with planetaries before. EMP hits. Ghosts are on the field. And now Showtime trying to wrap around the back. Oh, a flank from both sides. That's what a flank is. But force field stopped the flank. The Disruptor not finding that much. The Vikings killing one Colossus, but being whittled down as well. Here we go again. Both players maxed out. Showtime with a much more significant bank. Meanwhile, Disruptors. And Cure is trying to set up a flank, but he's one or two bad Disruptor hits. It looks like he's killed all the sentries. There's maybe one sentry in there. Yeah, just the one. One sentry is still so important for, like, Guardian Shield. The flank is coming in. A DT in the mix. Oh, he gets the Prism. Showtime being outmaneuvered. He can't find an angle, and now Cure has finished up his 2-2, drawing the upgrades even. 3-3 is on the way. Templar Archives for Showtime. He has the rich Vespine base as well to the north. Dark Templar coming by. Cure spots him with his beautiful eyes, but Showtime, I'm out of here. Blinks out. Shadow Stride. 3-3 is on the way for both sides. A little bit ahead for Showtime. Beautiful EMP to start. Disruptors are off cooldown, though. They're ready to fire. Liberator's going to hold this position well alongside the EMP, making it very easy to take out the Stalkers. Does he have any ship weapons upgrades? +1. +2 will allow him to two-shot. Well, it'll be very easy to kill Stalkers after EMP. Showtime still looking for an angle. He doesn't want to go to the late game. He wants to fight now. Oh, the Disruptor shot. Whew. Oh, it couldn't get through, so it almost turned traitor. He had to avoid his own Disruptor shot there to make sure he didn't take too big of a hit. Once again, Showtime with a lot of money in the bank. Cure, not doing terrible himself. Blink, another shot, fades away. Cure keeps melting back up to the high ground. Fusion Core is on the way. Oh, not a quadruple, but a triple drop. All feedback, though. They asked for feedback, and the Templar said, you guys, well, I don't like you very much, and I think you're mean, so here, take this. And that feedback hurt them very much. And therefore, now they will all die to cannons. Wow, that is not great for those guys. Meanwhile, Disruptor gets everything here. Cure losing the entirety of the triple drop. But wait, there's more to the tech tree. Carriers on the... Carriers? Okay. He's going to be mixing carriers into the army, which is a much more expensive choice than Tempests. It is a, well, now my army will be relying on the carriers. Tempests are for sniping. Liberators and other air units, other key units. But carriers are... Well, now you're going carriers, is how it works. Even if you have 5 bases, they are not a poor man's unit. So, and it's gonna take more than 2, ideally 6 to 8, before he reveals them. Disruptor scouting, the ghost is long gone. You shall not land. Oh no! Meanwhile, another round of charge lots coming in. Archon, a little bit slower, wishing he had legs. The drop being cleaned up. And I wonder if Cure is starting to get suspicious. Like, Showtime is not committing much. Like, he's pulled back. He's playing defensive. Oh, what is going on here? Showtime? Not like he's hurting for minerals, but he's now making 5 carriers at a time. Stargate Command in the main base. Liberators. So this is going to be an interesting... a few things are very important now. One is, Cure's going nukes. That's very important, but unrelated. Maybe not unrelated. We'll see. Liberators, well upgraded in high enough number, can actually just kill all the interceptors. In Lexington Rocket Splash Damage Mode. That's the actual name of the weapon. Fun fact. They can kill all the interceptors, especially with the ship weapons. But then become, of course, susceptible to storm. Everything matter, like the numbers matter. And Vikings with +3 are going to take them down quick. But you reach a critical mass of carriers and eat a couple storms, and we've all seen that story before. It's a very dead Marauder. Nukes. Everybody's kind of calmed down here. I think that's partially the map. Like, on Ephemeron, you can take a nice hop, skip, and a jump outside your base, and suddenly you're in theirs. Eternal Empire requires a bit more strategic decision-making to make your way across the map against a player who's watching your every move. And that's essentially what having this many scans is. The thing is, Cure... Oh, he scanned. He scanned the main. He felt it. His star senses were tingling. He's wondering, excuse me, why are you not trying to beat my face in right now, Mr. Showtime, sir? Oh, God. Uh-oh. I DT. 9 more gates on the way. That's going to put him at 21 gateways and 5 stargates. Oh, my God. Well. That is an expensive Protoss army. But the ghost slides right through it! Special operative. He sees everything. And then he runs into a... Ooh. There's a nuke. The storm. The storm interrupts. A storm over there. The nuke. Not gonna land. Meanwhile, the army tried to engage Vikings all over the carriers! Showtime! He stepped too far! Where is the support? Cure knocks the carriers out of the sky! Disruptors way too late to support! And suddenly Cure jumps him out on the map! Showtime! He spent the last 5 minutes putting together this army, and it only took a fraction of one to lose it. Suddenly, Showtime is back to the Warp Gate age. Those carriers obliterated. 8 going down. He spent a lot of money on that army, but he had money in the bank. Will he rebuild it? What is going on here? That's the Templar Assassination Squad / Medevac team. I would love to see the Medevac speed upgrade from the Fusion Core. But now Cure, he's at a dozen or so command centers. He's got his selection. I choose you, command center on the right. Command center bachelor will commence. I want you to land in my expansion. It's like, oh, me? You! EMPs across everything. Disruptor didn't even get a chance. Liberators, more than enough. You hear a whole lot of ghosts dying there, but so were the charge lots. Storms from the side. Showtime trying to play some offensive defense. Oh, Disruptor finds a ghost. That's about it. The EMP hit all of the Templar. Suddenly, Cure is tearing through everything. Showtime is desperately trying to put enough on the board to match him. A big disruptor. Nice, no, not so nice split from Cure. The Terran army is in kind of a weird spot. They're the 2-carrier counterattack. What's going on? Meanwhile, disruptors, Vikings on the ground. Here come the Liberators. Everybody's invited. Liberators coming in. Vikings, the only ones left fighting. There's not much, there's like one Marauder. Liberators, pickups. He gets out. The carrier counterattack continues. Somehow Showtime is now ahead on supply. Cure went too far. Meanwhile, Showtime coming back across the map. That's not a planetary. Major oversight there. Air weapons level 3 on the way for that 2-carrier hit squad. Cure is going to be forced to retreat from this base, and that command center regrets being chosen for this job. Don't worry, he has more where that came from. The scans looking for the carriers. The carriers have retreated all the way back to the other side of the map. High-sec auto-tracking and building armor on the way. Blink is... are you going to kill it? Okay. 12 SCVs went down with this. Cure now struggling with minerals. I'm surprised he delved that deep into the base. He was going for the production, maybe thinking there are just so many bases. My only chance is to stop the production. Disruptor shot finds a connection. Looking for more. That's a planetary. Target fire, disruptors. Whoa, big hit. Storms as well. And another fadeaway shot. Tries to curve it. Not going to find it. One Marauder at the front. Another one. Disruptor clips a few. Storms as well. But the Terran army is undeterred. Blink to the side. Disruptors all on cooldown. Where's the splash damage? There is none. The EMP. He's going to chase. There's no cooldowns. That was the only one. Target fire on the Ruptors. Cure is fighting. Vikings on the deck. Another disruptor comes up from the side. Gonna airball all the way. The Templar need to split. More disruptors in production. Showtime still has money. He's just desperately. His 21 warp gates aren't enough. In what scenario are 21 warp gates are not enough? This is the one. Another nuke is launched. And then a nuke from the... What is he even nuking? He's nuking the pylon. He's nuking Artosis pylon, which is pretty new. And Cure's going to try it again. He's going to try to bust up here. Maybe this time he will be bringing his Liberators in a timely fashion. Down goes the pylon, depowering some Stargates and maybe a Warp Gate in there. Meanwhile, a little bit engaging the planetary. Some DTs in the mix. We've got essentially maxed out upgrades. Here comes Cure. He's in the natural disruptor between a rock and a hard place. Big hit. Is that enough? Another disruptor from the high ground. Finds a connection. 2-carrier counterattack. Showtime is holding his base for now. There's a couple Liberators, a Venn diagram of freedom, but they're being targeted down. How many Liberators are there? He still has 3. The anti-air is running out. Another disruptor from the high ground. On cooldown. So much on the ground. 2-carrier counterattack still going to work. Out of interceptors. Archon taken down. Disruptor on cooldown. Just Ghost left over. He can blink and chase. He can blink and chase. So many medevacs going down, as well as the Vikings. Meanwhile, the carriers will be cleaned up. Cure's up by 30 supply, but Showtime, he still has the bank. He needs to repower. The Ghost is nuked half, well, not half, but a portion of the production. Cure has all of the bases. Showtime has 76 workers. Cure has 73, and it ain't even close to over yet. Cure is doing better and better with each of these engagements. He's not winning, but he's getting close. And Showtime is left with units that aren't really capable of counterattacking. Are we going to do a Ghost drop, or is that just left over from the attack? Looks like the second. Meanwhile, Liberator sieging up. It's things like this. Anything that takes Showtime's attention away from the front. Showtime is now out of minerals. And by out of minerals, I mean he doesn't have a bank anymore. Cure is mining way more than him. Oh, he blinks forward! Storms! Where are the EMPs? There are EMPs. Disruptor shot over the top. Into the center mass. Great hit. Another Disruptor is not targeted, but forces micro. Liberator's going down. This Disruptor taken by default. Liberator taken out in the top left. Is there anything here? 1 DT and 1 charge lot. This base, we're actually mining out of the 4th and 5th bases right now. The DT is underneath. It blinks away. This army isn't going to cut it. Disruptor. Oh, he blinks into the medevac. That's what my brain said. He blinks into the medevac to dodge the Disruptor shot, and Showtime is bleeding out. He's lost 7,000 more resources. Cure is getting the medevac speed / boost cooldown rapid reignition system upgrade. And that may be the decider. Another ghost sliding by the cannons, looking for a nuke, but this base is mined out of gas a while ago. It's a rich Vespine. That ghost, very... Oh! He fires. I've got more where that came from. Meanwhile, Showtime trying to counterattack, not finding much. The nuke is firing. And he doesn't actually... He's not hitting the ghost. The nuke is going to land. Partially... Oh, it also kills the ghost. Scorched Earth policy. 7 probes go down. Cure is still maxing out. He's taken his half of the map. And he's still got mules, which is a very important factor at this stage. When workers are hard to keep alive. More disruptors curving up the ramp. Showtime maybe has one good fight left in him. The incomes right now starting to tilt heavily in favor of Cure. If Showtime can't make some big moves soon. The Wall of Liberators. He had his carrier army, and it cost him in so many ways. Cure's starting to bank a little. How many Liberators? He's got 7, which isn't an overwhelming number, but he has to try to outmaneuver him. Just a single Liberator there. Disruptor shots. Disruptor's gone. More like an anger shot there than actual damage. The Liberators are mostly out of position here. Fade away. The sensor towers cover most of the map. What is in... Some medevacs spreading out. He's going to try to take down the rocks. This is all within sensor tower range. More Liberators going to siege up. Showtime finds a gap. The disruptors have to land. Oh, EMP. Meanwhile, some gateway units up here, but Charge Lap's getting caught. Showtime is maxed out, potentially for the last time. The disruptor, nothing. Quadruple drop. Just whatever units he happen to have on hand. Oh, Showtime finds an angle. There's nothing to block him. On the opposite side of the map from where Cure attacked before. That means there's not going to be much at home. The Blink Stalkers get by the line of Liberators. They're behind enemy lines. But the drop gonna do so. It's gonna just snipe the Nexus. No chance of a recall. He's coming back. The Liberators mostly taken down. What a move by Showtime, but isn't enough. The Liberators will siege. The Stalkers will eventually be inspired to attack. It's kind of a weird position here where he can't really see the Liberators. The bio's down. The attack at the front. A volley of disruptors. Incredible damage, but isn't enough. Another Marauder is clipped. Another shot. Oh, that's a big one. And a third on top of the depots. 20 SCVs. He still found a sweet spot. Free from the freedom zones. DT's on top. He can't keep up with the scans. Another disruptor shot. It cleans up the bio. Just medevacs left over to ponder what has happened. Where did it all go wrong? Just a single Liberator. He's dropping mules across the board. Will Showtime be able to... Oh, God, EMP on all the disruptors. They're actually pretty fragile. This base is under fire. Is that a real Phoenix? It is. Oh, and gets rid of the Liberator. All the SCV is going to go down with it. It's not over yet, but Cure, he has money in the bank. Showtime has been able to restabilize and take out most of the mining locations. The actual amount of mineral patches is very important. Mineral patches left to mine from. Cure at 50 workers. That's a planetary. Might have to work on that later on. Disruptor shot. Finds a couple. Meanwhile, the armies are joining up. Showtime has been able to consolidate his forces. Still, disruptors high in number. Another shot. Looking for a ghost. Finds it. EMP. Hits a lot of the stalkers. More shots coming out. Got to be careful not to hit your own charge lot. Shot from the back. The Liberators will force him to micro away. The spread is incredible for Cure. That's far too many Liberators. Another beautiful splits. Airball. Tries to curve. Another one. 0 for 2. Shack at the free throw line. Down goes 2 Marauders. 40 SCVs died, but Cure is on the chase. That shot finds a connection. The Stalkers are trying to zone out. He's staggering the disruptor shots. His patience is astounding. Showtime has 5 gas, and he's not mining any. He has 0 gas mining. Every unit that costs gas is irreplaceable. Cure is... I mean, everybody's hurting. Every 30 minutes in, half an hour. The unit's lost. Showtime has lost slightly more. Not, well, anything is a significant margin at this point. Showtime's been able to reestablish a base, and he's looking... What is going on here? He's trying to outmaneuver. The Liberator count is now 10. The Stalker count is 12. Those are far too close to even. If those Liberators are sieged, the Stalkers can't win a fight. Speaking of. Oh my god. Oh no! Oh no! Oh, indiscriminate liberty. The Disruptor's still looking for options, but the Liberator range is severely reducing them. They do have +3 attack as well. Oh. The Charizards will engage. The Liberators will force them to stop. Both players still working on a max out. DT slicing up a few bio units, trying to outmaneuver again. He might have found an angle. That is a planetary to hold a position. Looks past the freedom zones. Oh, going for the Liberators, but how much will it cost him? Nice connection. Counter damage is there. What is this? What? There's nothing here. It's like, well, just take aim, boys. Target practice. Somehow the economies are still intact. Cure wasn't mining from as many bases as early, so now he has more to mine from later on. Showtime has to continually expand. There's still 10 Liberators, and that's the biggest issue. There are armies joining up. Showtime has by far the more mobile army. Oh, but Cure can easily win that fight. The planetary going to be targeted, just removing it from this position. Where are the Liberators? The bio tucks itself in between a turret and a refinery. The Liberators are the most important part. He still has 2 nukes, by the way, but there's no ghost to launch them. Liberator's going to siege. The Stalker count has grown slightly. Very dead Marauder. 21 more SCVs die. He still has 50. Apparently he's been very consistent. He's killed 94 SCVs. 32 minutes. There's still no clear advantage. Another orbital down. The thing is, can he stop the Liberator? Like, Showtime really needs to take fights where he kills Liberators. Oh no! Here comes the Terran army! From both sides! Disruptors fire to one! The Liberators catch the other! Another volley! Oh, it's unclear who's winning! The Disruptors! They're all on cooldown! He will recall out Cure! The pincer attack! A Showtime sandwich! And he takes a huge bite. The Disruptors get out of there, but lost a lot of their number. It was a panic volley. Cure held on to his units in the main. This is one of the only bases he can mine from. There's a Liberator in the top left, but Disruptor shots coming through, saving the day. The Liberator killing so many probes. It's completely eliminated all the mining at Showtime's only real mining base. So, eye for an eye. Well, so many of them. There's one Phoenix to eventually stop this Liberator. 34 probes went down. 28 of them to this hero. Meanwhile, a DT. There's nothing to stop him. He's slicing through the economies. Now we're under 100 supply. We've exhausted most of the resources, and there's almost no workers left to mine the scraps. The Liberators, though, are closing in, and the Liberators are what are the problem? There are 8 Liberators to just 9 Stalkers. 16 probes. The DT, I don't know what happened to it. It looks like it ran out of a scan or blinked. Finally, the Liberator is taken out, but Showtime's down to 34 workers. He's barely mining. The Venn diagram of freedom, but he's killed. Like, the DT is denying this base. The DT on its own. Individual units coming through, like, this is campaign right now. A Liberator and a Dark Templar essentially denying the entire economies of their opponents. SCVs left out to dry. How many Disruptors are left? Still 5. The DT blinking away. The probes on the run, but will be gunned down in the Nexus. There's barely any minerals left here anyways. We're gonna base trade, but he's base trading a Terran. What can you do, though? Like, what are the options? He's got to get rid of these planetaries while he still can. The army's coming back. He doesn't want to waste disruptor cooldowns. You don't want to lose anything to a planetary. His recall off cooldown. Recall is off cooldown. This might be his last opportunity to do anything about it. Every Stalker is so precious. Cure has no money, but Showtime has little more than that. Oh, another Liberator. He refuses to be cornered, but Terran is closing in. He's got to get out of there. Leave me behind, boys. I'll hold down the fort. One heroic zealot left behind as Showtime is able to escape. He's now got a long-distance line. The scan looking for any bases there. The bio army is too big now. If disruptors don't connect. In fact, like... Oh, no! Oh! Oh! If disruptors don't connect, don't worry. They connected. They swiped right, and the bio made some bad life decisions. And suddenly, Showtime finds another opportunity. The Liberators are forced to pull back with the rest of the bio. The Liberator count is still at 5. Liberator's just kind of showing up. He doesn't have a recall. He has blink on almost everything but disruptors. Another, well, the beauty of Terran bases is they can fly. A turret from downtown connects. Showtime has precious few units. There's mining, like building Marines is important. The Hero Zealot. He needs to do something. He fires a shot. Another shot. Oh, misses it! The curveball's not there! He's running out of Oh, another air ball! And suddenly, all the disruptors are off cooldown. He has no disruptors. He has no hope. After 37 minutes. Showtime just barely not able to bring him the distance. It's not over. But the carriers, the 10 carriers that died, well, 8 carriers, the 2 carriers that were counterattacking were good. The carrier switch was risky, but it was a game-winning move. Until it wasn't. So, Gear goes up 2-1, match point. And if professional organizations in StarCraft have taught me anything, you know what that means. It's time for advertisements. I'll be right back. You guys can pause ad block and all of that. Thank you for watching. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Winter, and I'm here to talk to you about all the amazing ways you can support StarCraft 2. No, I don't mean just subscribing and liking and ringing the bell on YouTube and Twitch and all those exciting other platforms like Instagram stories or whatever you're into. No. Wardy, Wardy TV, and Wardy TV 2020. Not necessarily in that order. Did you know if you subscribe to Wardy, twitch.tv/Wardy with 3 eyes. And Wardy is spelled with eyes, by the way, just in case you didn't know. He's British. They like to spell things wrong. So, twitch.tv/Wardy with 3 eyes, you can get access to some of the best replays in all of StarCraft 2. Wardy spends most of his waking hours slaving over organizing and casting amazing tournaments to give us these $5 or free with Twitch Prime replay packs that we can rehash for our very own content, likes, and revenue. So make sure to thank Wardy with $5 a month. Thank me with likes and subscribes and bell rings and comments like, I would watch Wardy, but I don't. So, thank you, Winter, for casting these games and other such productive things. And of course, if you don't know yet, if you have Amazon Prime, make sure to check out Twitch Prime. Twitch Prime allows you to subscribe for free to a streamer of your choice every single month, even if you don't actually watch them. Check it out today. Twitch.tv/Wardy, Twitch.tv/Prime, and Twitch.tv/GiveMeMoreMoney. With all of these things, thank you, and good luck. Thank you guys for sticking around. we had a match between Showtime and Cure. It was reasonably good. And now, match point. Jimmy, give them their points. It's Cure. Yes. In one of the most exciting matches I've ever seen on Eternal Empire. And I think it's partially... Both these players are and yeah, Cure might be close to being best Terran right now. But both these players are not necessarily the tippy-top, very best gold or top Grandmaster standard. Of course, they're top Grandmaster, but for their races. Which means they make some mistakes. There's mistakes. And those mistakes make things exciting. Just ask your mother. So, without further ado, Game 4. After those games, after over an hour, what kind of game are we going to get? Game 1 was Showtime kind of cheesy. It was still like 15 minutes. And then Game 2 was 25. Game 3 was 37. So, let me crunch the numbers. This game is potentially 3 hours long. Give or take. We will see. Or both of them want to just get it over with because it's exhausting. Like 40 minutes straight, almost, of concentration. And now we're not done. It's not even the last game of the series. It was never going to be. And honestly, it appears Showtime, well, from his one attempt, Showtime not super comfortable with the Stargate-based late game. I do kind of question the choice of carriers. Carriers are well, if I find the right fight, I win, because these units are so, they snowball real quick. Like, you start winning a fight with carriers, you beat everything. But they're also incredibly expensive and take quite a while. Even though they got, a while back, they got buffed to take significantly less time to build. It used to be like 80 seconds, and now it's 60. Something like that. I don't know the exact numbers. Give or take. You already know. You already figured out the math. But spending that much money and time and then just losing them. It's obvious Showtime is a lot more comfortable. Also, what is this? They didn't see each other. Okay. What are they doing up? What are you guys doing up here? Is that going to be a... what is going on? But, like I was saying, Showtime not... You really got to babysit the carriers. These games have been fast and loose. There's been a whole lot of engaging and disengaging and re-engaging and, honestly, more engagements than your average rom-com. What is it? What? Wait, what? Excuse me? Is he gonna Thor drop? Or is this a drilling clause? This has got to be drilling clause, right? There's no way it's Thor. He's not getting a star. It has to be drilling clause. It's got to be drilling clause. There's no way he would make me that excited. He's not banking him nearly. Yeah, it's drilling clause. Okay. It is quite a play. And it's going to be obvious to Showtime with the hallucinated Phoenix. Like, what else would you be upgrading from a tech lab right now? Maybe Magfield Accelerator for the Cyclone. The Cyclone just barely missing the hallucination, by the way. But once he, like, I think Showtime's going to get perfect vision. He's going to see a Widow Mine come out, see the tech lab upgrading, see that a starport is done. He's going to be wondering where in the hell his armory is, but I think Showtime realizes what this is. Drilling claws this early, like, here's the thing. Even if he knows what it is, there's still a lot of potential, because those Widow Mines fire quick and require detection. They don't just uncloak if you get a shot off on a probe, so We will see. My voice is losing it after that last game. Unfortunately, I don't have a calm and just mildly disdainful, that's not a word, British temperament, so I can't cast 26 hours a day. I like to put my energy into a few. Thank you again, Wardy. Meanwhile, the drop into the main. The Widow Mines. With drilling claws, they burrow. Yep, they unburrow. Well. They, well. Thor would have been better. I say with confidence. Maybe, obviously, you should have gone Thor drop. So. No, it's just Showtime read that perfectly, got the scout. One more drilling claws Widow Mine. One Widow Mine can make up for all of this. Will it? Showtime. Like, you have to preemptively run the probes, is the thing. Because they fire so fast. Oh, he has to run around his own base. This is a... Oh, okay. Well. Bit of a mess. Another Widow Mine drop. He's killed one probe for 2 medevacs and 3 mines. Which, I'm not... Once again, it comes up again, of course. I'm not a mathematician, but I think that went pretty well for Showtime. That's a lot of... Wait, what? How many... 5 barracks? He's going up to 8 barracks? What? Meanwhile, another mine drop. He's just... Yeah. Take that. Why is he not burrowing it? Where did the drop go? Oh, he waited. 8 barracks play. Big bio boys. I don't know why that's involved, but he just decided, okay, well, we're making a whole lot of Marines and Marauders. Looks like here we go again. This is not going to be another... None of these games have been a calm march. Well, that's not true. I was about to say a calm march up the tech tree. Last game kind of was. Just the 5 minutes or so they spent being kind of passive was overshadowed by the then 25 minutes they spent beating each other in the face with maxed out armies. And then the 10 minutes they spent beating each other with what they had left. Oh, like, they're still so dangerous. Oh. Just having the drilling claws this early is nice. He's found the armory. No armory left unkilled. And will he get it before the 2-2? You got start +2, Cure! Start +2! He got it before +2 started. That's a pretty big deal. Cure had the option, like, if that armory was still intact, his 2-2 would be done before Showtime had anything more than +1. He has to restart the armory just before the 2-2. Is that... Well, the bio is scouted. Widow Mine taken out. That's a whole lot of bio and 1 medevac. I think I've seen this before on one of those sites we can't show on Twitch. And no more medevac. The scan spots the Colossi, meaning the bio should be in full retreat. But did he clean up the Widow Mines? He did not. So that base is not... Oh my god, it is blocked! Meanwhile, Showtime's looking for an attack. Cure suddenly... Well, I guess when you have 8 barracks, this is what happens. But suddenly at a 30 supply lead. And he's blocking the 4th Nexus. Cure is moving in from the north, from the south, but he's got nothing right up the center. And a whole bunch of SCVs will die because of it. Now Cure's moving into his third, but Showtime backs out. I'd say, oh wait, where's the bio? Go kill. The Prism was left behind, that's unfortunate. The Charge Lot's incidentally killed. A little bit sloppy from Showtime, missing an opportunity to kill maybe some more SCVs. Cure, if he hadn't killed those SCVs, Cure will be, I mean, Showtime will be hurting in the economy. He still kind of is, but 2-2 just now starting for Cure. His, oh my god, he has so much bio. 38 Marines and 22 Marauders. There's only a handful of medevacs, overworked and underpaid. And here we go again. But this time, Cure has an advantage. For the last 2 games, Showtime was in the driver's seat. He had map control, he had units, and usually something of an upgrade advantage. This time, Cure has been doing the damage, and Showtime kind of stabbed back at him, but it wasn't decisive. So with this much of a lead in map control, which is tangible at this level, Disruptors are much better in a defensive position where your opponent can't run away. Alright, that sounds obvious, but that's part of why Showtime was doing so well with him, I feel. Is he's constantly pushing or playing defense where it's very hard to constantly micro and have the position to still attack the army. And now Cure working in from the north. I think Recall is still on cooldown. Yes, it is. Another 30 seconds or so. There's a whole lot of army here. That's a lot of bio. Widowmine unburrowed. Looking for a better connection. Oh my god. Those Terran units are not dying. He's tearing through everything. Just Archons left over and a handful of Stalkers. Disruptor fires. Oh my god, he followed through and whiffed it completely. Looks for another shot. The shots were good enough. Oh my god, where did all these Disruptors come from? But he was queuing up Disruptor shots, trying to make sure he didn't get zoned out on the southern side there. Showtime, he had to fall back, but the Disruptors show up in time. 2-2 done, but Showtime is caught up. Chrono Boost is quite a thing. Showtime is caught up in the upgrades to an extent. They're about even. And Cure has been going very heavily on this bio army. Really wants to keep those Colossi alive. Cure is going heavily into Vikings. He's learned his lesson. The Vikings have done very well for him thus far. What is going on here? He scans the army. Oh my god. Oh my god, Cure. Cure is setting up the most insane flank. Volleys sent out towards the south. The Colossi trying to hold, but Terran is everywhere. Another Disruptor from the back, I think, may have even hit the army. Oh, Widowmine. Oh, the 270-degree, even maybe almost 360 Terran flank. The full surround. He didn't know where to fire and where to run from. There was nowhere to run. What an engagement by Cure. And even if this Disruptor gets maximum damage, I don't think it'll be enough. It definitely does not. And that's all it took. A perfect fight. Cure. 3-1. A decisive. It appears like he was just growing his power level, microing against the Disruptors over and over and over. And then finally found the fight he was looking for. And that was the tangible result of map control. That's what happens when your opponent, when your opponent has map control. He knows where most of your units are most of the time because he has enough to deal with them. When you have map control, well, for Showtime, the map is dark and full of Terrans. Little did he know how many. A beautiful flank. And in the Wardy TV 2020, Cure takes this match 3-1. What do you think? First, thank you to Wardy for those replays and for putting on the tournament. And should Showtime have just gotten Storm? Is that what solves everything? Did you enjoy the match? That was one of my favorite matches I've seen in 2020, maybe beyond. We'll see if it holds up by the end of the year. I hope to see more. But like and subscribe and ring the bell and leave a comment and say, I don't know, I only watched game 1, but Protoss seems pretty bad. Or my favorite are the comments 3 minutes in complaining about whatever. I'm already pre-complaining about pre-complaining comments. So we've come all the way around. But thank you to Wardy and the players and the fans. I hope to show good games. Good luck and have fun.